Hi, everyone, and welcome to New Jersey Wedding Podcast. This is the podcast to listen to for planning your wedding in New Jersey or anywhere. We give lots of helpful
Yeah.
tips. So, thank you for joining us today. We are your hosts, Andrea Pertel and Celia Milton, and we are both full-time professional wedding officiants here in the state of New Jersey. We are recording this on a Monday, so Celia and I just got off a beautiful, crazy weekend full of wonderful weddings and
Wild,
other ceremonies.
crazy this weekend. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, where were you this weekend?
Where wasn't I this weekend? I was everywhere this weekend. But my favorite place, I can't say my favorite because I loved all of them, but I don't really do a lot of weddings in New York, but I do a lot of weddings at Bear Mountain.
Hmm.
And it's
Beautiful.
it's so fun because they've got three venues there. They've got the Overlook Lodge, which is like kind of a little hotel. They've got the big Bear Mountain Inn, and then they've got this really cool little space. It's a building built around a carousel. We'll talk about that at another time, but it is so cool. But I was at the Bear Mountain Inn, and I had a fabulous couple. It was really such a great choice for them because he's a head of a horticultural group that takes care of like an estate somewhere. I don't know where, but really nature oriented people. She works for a veterinarian. They love animals, they like nature, they like trees. I don't know if they like bears, but fortunately we didn't encounter any of those. But it was really, really fun. But I think we had a common thread this weekend, and you'll tell us about where you were, and then we'll go to that common
Okay.
thread.
I started this week with a couple of elopements in the park or under the wedding arch in my home office. And then I had the joy of doing a baby blessing in Manahawkin, or was I in
Hmm,
Stafford Township? But it doesn't matter because I didn't have to fill anything out. But
there you
this
go.
one, I know this one in Manahawkin was so nice because I had the joy of doing the older son's baby blessing a couple of years ago. And
Oh,
since
that's so
then,
nice.
the couple has moved to California. They just had a baby girl. They came back to town, introducing the baby girl to their family that lives here in New Jersey and their friends here. And so I got to see the family again, the grandparents, the parents. It was so great because I remember them, they remember me, and a couple that I had just married a couple of months ago on the beach in Asbury Park were there. They were like, I think you married. And then their mother came up to me. So it was
Oh my
really,
God.
I know, it's so wonderful. It was really joyful. And then I had a wedding the next day at a gazebo in Mayo Park. Um, is that Beechwood? Is it Tom's River? Is it
Mhm.
Berkeley? That thing, it was
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful gazebo that overlooks the water. It's really gorgeous.
Oh, that's yeah. I see what you did there. You subtly alluded to the fact that we sometimes we just don't know where we are. And,
Right.
it's fine to not know where you are sometimes, but it's not fine for the license. And I know there's a bunch of places down by you. I think I can't get the mill at Spring Lake is
Yep.
two different places.
Yep.
Outside is one place, inside is another.
Yep.
When I go to Perona, and I'm at Perona a lot, uh, the barn is one place and the other two venues are another. And,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's important. Well, Bear Mountain is like the big challenge because Bear Mountain, within the confines of the park, there are two different counties and I think three different towns.
Yeah.
And you need to know exactly what to put on that license.
Right.
And you can't ask like the waiter, okay?
No, no, no. They don't know the
Because
legal.
the waiters don't know. So both spent the morning talking to
Yeah.
clerks who
I
are
eight
who
o'clock this morning, I was on the phone
me
calling
too,
clerk's offices,
me
making
too,
sure I was doing it right. Yeah.
me too. And no, there's no happier clerk on this planet to hear from an officiant who actually does not know what they're doing, but is going to find out before we take that black pen and we write it on that license. But
Yeah.
I think what people don't kind of get is that this is like a legal document.
Mhm.
And
It
if
is your
you,
vital record. It turns
it,
in to your
yes,
vital record, birth
yes,
certificate, marriage certificate, death certificate. This marriage certificate is going to follow you. You
it's
know,
a
it
thing.
has to be right.
It has to be right. And, when I always tell my couples, when you pick it up from your clerk, look at every single line, look at everything. I know it's boring, but look.
Mhm.
So I had one a few months ago. I don't know where it came from. They had the bride's name spelled three different ways in three different
Right.
places. And, they're, listen, we're human beings. We make mistakes. But the fact of the matter is, if you bring us something that's not right, we have to marry you with it, then it's got to be corrected. And when it goes to that, the bottom line is it can take you 8 weeks to get your real certified copies back. And in the meantime, you cannot change your name. You cannot get health insurance in many cases if you're changing to one person's or another, because most of those departments will not work without a legal document that says you're married. And the thing that we give you on that day, that is not it. That is
Right,
not,
right.
it's
That
not
is
good for, yeah,
just a receipt. That is not
that's
the
it.
seal original.
Yeah.
So our advice, the first advice is when you pick up your marriage license from your clerk, to take it to your wedding, to get married, don't be in a rush.
Right.
Take the moment at that time and make sure everything is spelled correctly
Yep.
and all the dates and everything on that is correct, because if you do not, first of all, it could haunt you, and all of your paperwork, your social security, all of that will be messed up and a pain, or you have to get a correction done, which will hold it up getting your vital record for around 8 weeks. And that is more of a pain than taking the 2 minutes to make sure everything is
Absolutely.
correct, hand it
Yeah.
back to them and say, you've got my middle name incorrectly, you have my
Right.
mother's maiden name incorrectly, that make sure it's correct. And then with a professional officiant, it is, I love writing a ceremony. I was just writing a ceremony this morning, a hand fasting. They wanted to incorporate some beautiful quotes from some poetry they love, and the writing of the ceremony, the performing the ceremony. To me, those are the fun parts, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, you wanna be legally married and you want
Yeah.
your vital record, your marriage certificate. You have to know how to fill out that certificate, the officiant does, and
Yep.
how to have the witnesses fill it out and how to properly file it.
Yep.
And that's what we're talking about with knowing where you are. You have to put the not just the county, but the town that you were in.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
and
if you're, I mean, some of our people from New Jersey are getting married in New York, and the New York licenses are, they're not as complicated because there's not as many copies, but they are different. The New York State license is different from the New York City license, although you can use either one in any place in New York. And it's got to be right.
right,
The
right,
clerks, I talked to two extremely frustrated clerks this morning because it seems like nobody reads anything. And,
right.
most of the clerks here will, in your license, when you get your license back, there's going to be a sheet or two about, how your efficient needs to do this and then what you need to do afterwards. But, the legalities don't stop there. If you're having a home wedding, you need to know about the noise, the time that your noise has to stop if you're out in the backyard. You need to know if you can put 14 bags full of like garbage from your wedding out to the curb the next day. The answer to that is probably no. You
Mhm.
need to know if you can, do you need valet parking? Do you need to have a police person come and direct traffic? There's, the wedding itself is like the fun part, but we don't want you to be like arrested being on a beach that you can't have a party at, right?
Right, right.
You know more about that than me. So you can walk 5 feet down the beach and you're in a different town. It's
Right,
important to know these things.
right, right. Everything has to be done correctly, or you just don't want the headache afterwards. You want it to go smoothly, everybody happy, no stress. And yeah, talking about the beach,
Yeah,
I
great segue. I like it.
I had the joy a couple of weekends ago to work with Patty, the owner of Shed Eatery and Pop-Up Picnics by Shed.
Mm.
And we talk about it being very popular nowadays to have micro weddings, whether they're on the beach or inside a venue. And this is what she specializes in. She did a pop-up picnic for this elopement. It was absolutely gorgeous. And they did it on Riverfront Beach in Point Pleasant Borough, but she has her different beaches and parks that she uses. And we had a great conversation with her. So
It
I
was
really
fun.
think the listeners are going to enjoy hearing from Patty of Shed Eatery and Pop-Up Picnics by Shed. It was really informative. And the one thing that I really love about her is her energy. You hear it in
Yes.
her voice.
Yeah.
You talk to her and she's smiling. She has a passion
Hmm.
and joy for what she does, which is, you know, when you hire anybody, whether it's your officiant, your photographer, your caterer, whatever, you want them to have an absolute joy for what they do. And, being the owner of this company and her passion for what she does and making it work for you and personalizing it for
Hmm.
what you want it's really great. It's really great. It's a real happiness to be, working with her.
Yeah, it sounded like it would be really fun to work with her, and the pictures of the place they're adorable.
Yeah, yeah, you could have like a micro event there, maybe
Mm,
40 guests for your wedding or your baby blessing. I
love
just
it.
baby blessing this weekend. It's a great indoor space, or have the picnic combined with your elopement out on the beach or over
Hmm.
at Spring Lake Park. It's really great. So, um, so I think you guys, everybody's going to enjoy this interview, and thank you for joining us
Gonna have a
today.
great time. Thank you.
Uh, uh,
Bye.
Bye. Want to get married without the stress of a big wedding? Looking for a ceremony that's all about the two of you? Or maybe you just can't wait to say I do. New Jersey Elope can make your dream of an intimate and unforgettable wedding day a reality. Picture this: exchanging vows with the sand between your toes on a beautiful beach, saying I do surrounded by nature in a serene park, or celebrating your love under the elegant arch in my cozy office. So, whether you crave the coastal breeze, the charm of the outdoors, or a private, hassle free setting, we have the perfect elopement ceremony for you. Visit NewJerseyElope.com and start planning your dream wedding today. New Jersey Elope, where your love story begins.
Good morning, everybody. We have such a fabulous, interesting guest today. And I know that some of you who have never thought of doing this kind of a thing for your elopement or your micro wedding are going to just be delighted to hear about her. We have Patty Cami from Pop-Up Picnics by Shed. Their physical location, which is adorable, is known as Pop-Up Picnics by Shed Eatery. That is hard to say, Patty. I got to tell you. Um,
It's a mouthful,
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
but
no
so
pun
is everything we
intended.
serve.
Andrea, I know, had the pleasure of working with you recently on a micro wedding, and they just you provide such a unique service, and we want to hear all about it. So why don't I give this to you, and you can tell us what you do and how you do it.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is so much fun for me. I
Yeah.
really love connecting with people. So this is a great way. And you have such a great podcast.
Thank you.
And your Instagram is great too. What you provide. So thank you so much for what you guys do. So She Shed Eatery was born during COVID. We started as pop-up picnics when we couldn't eat inside, but eating outside was recommended. By not eating inside, you could eat outside. So we were giving people the opportunity to eat outside at these picnics that we were able to adorn them with outside on the beach, in their backyard, at a park, or anywhere where we could serve people in a safe way to follow the rules and regulations.
What a
Um,
great pivot, right?
yeah, absolutely. I did a lot of pivoting. I didn't allow COVID to harm me or affect me with it before it even touched me, because you couldn't. It was truly a pivotal point in so many people's lives.
Right.
It was either going to make you or break you,
Right.
and we took the ball and ran with it, and just
So true.
gave the world what it needed. So fast forward, the COVID was kind of dwindling down, and we were learning to live with this incredible virus. Um, and I knew that there was going to be a time where the people were going to need to reconnect and come together. And we actually had to relearn how to connect with people, and not just doing it virtually or via text messaging or through a screen. And I wanted to, besides like my house being overrun with carpeting and tables and pillows, and I needed a bigger space. I To marry the things together, bringing people together to form that bond again and connect and unify, and also be able to store all my picnic equipment. The She Shed Eatery was born from that, and I wanted to create a space. And if you've ever been into the She Shed Eatery, it's really like an indoor outdoor space, and it's almost like being on someone's back porch, where you're like meeting a friend for coffee, or meeting a friend for a charcuterie board, or share a salad, or share a flatbread pizza. It's very shareable, and I want that to encompass everything: shareable with your conversation, shareable with your food, and give everybody the opportunity to kind of come back together and reconnect
Yeah.
during a
Yeah.
really difficult time. Yeah.
It's very cute. The
It
site
is.
is very cute.
It's beautiful, and the food looks amazing, and I've seen the food firsthand too. It's a beautiful display, and as we talk about COVID, and this was born out of this. I love the attitude, and your upbeat attitude, and your professionalism, and your I don't know, it comes through in your work, and when you meet you, and when you deal with your customers and stuff. It's, this love of what you do. But another thing that really came out of COVID is the permission to have smaller gatherings. I am
Yeah.
seeing, both Celia and I are both seeing more smaller gatherings for weddings, micro
Yes.
weddings, which I think would be perfect for your indoor space. How many people for a private event indoors can it hold?
We can hold up to 49 people by the
Perfect.
law, like our fire code. Yeah, 49 people.
Yeah. Another thing that is very popular, I just had two this past weekend, are baby blessings. I look at that
Mhm.
location for the gathering for a baby blessing, a baby naming, and of
Yes.
course, bridal showers and things
Mhm.
like that. It's a beautiful space for it.
It's very
Um,
cute.
yeah.
It is.
But what I had, when I met Patty was just a couple of weeks ago. I
Mhm.
had a couple who, were having kind of a in between, like an elopement micro wedding at Riverfront Park in Point Pleasant Borough, and they had, the pop-up picnic. How beautiful was that?
It
It
was
was
so pretty. Really, really nice.
Yeah. So you do a lot of these outdoor, because we are at the beach. We live right by the beach. They're located in She Shed Eatery is in Point Pleasant Beach. And so what are some of your favorite or most popular beaches or park locations that you use?
I love sunset picnics. They are my personal favorite. Sunrise or sunset. We do so many sunrise proposals, sunset proposals. And so the beaches that are great for that, well, the sunrise obviously is actually on the beach, like Point
Right.
Pleasant Beach, like Bradshaw Beach or Maryland Ave. And that's great for sunrise, or the inlet is great space to watch a sunrise. But sunset would either be Fisherman's Cove in Manasquan, or the Riverfront Park has best views of the sunset. And it's just a calmer, more relaxing, intimate place to host your picnic. Also, you're not contending with the aggressive wind that you normally get at the beach. So
Yeah.
those are
And
my two.
I know at Manasquan there, you could do it right on the beach, but they also have some covered areas too, I guess you could use. I've used those for ceremonies, the pavilions.
Right, right. Well, if we're doing sunset, which people usually tend to like sunset because you're getting less people at the beach also.
Mhm.
So Fisherman's Cove has an impeccable view of the sunset, and it's just great for photos and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I
get
love
up
the
at,
parks also. Parks are beautiful. Like
Beautiful.
Spring Lake around the lake is gorgeous.
I love Spring Lake Park. I'm there all the time, and it's gorgeous, those patios around the lake or
Yes,
any of the grassy areas around the lake as
yes,
well. Yeah.
beautiful.
so Patty, let's say I'm a bride. I'm
Yeah.
going to be a bride. And I call you and because I'm in North Jersey, which I am, I have no idea what to do next. I just know I always wanted to. I actually had somebody call me and says, we wanted to get married on an island, but we couldn't do a destination because none of my family would come. So
Mhm.
we're doing the next best thing. We're going to go to the Jersey Shore and
Right.
have like a little wedding. How would that conversation go? What would that look like?
So, I mean, if I typically handle the food and the decor part of it,
Mhm.
I think Andrea would help with the
Yeah.
actual service, which would be great. So we don't we right now we're actually just getting into the coordination part. We're hiring an event coordinator because right now I'm doing all of the invoices and writing
Mhm.
the estimates and all that. But we're actually hiring an event coordinator, which can coordinate more things than what we actually offer. So we can really run the gamut on what from A to Z for what everyone needs. But as far as the picnic or the event afterwards, we can handle that for them. And I really try to I mean, I offer what I offer, and you can see that on the website and from my Instagram and Facebook. But what I like to do is say, tell me what your vision is. And even if it's something that we don't do, I'm a yes woman. I will bring to fruition what your vision is. If somebody says, I want a Willy Wonka wedding, okay, I don't have anything Willy Wonka, but I'll Google it and I'll figure it out and we will make it come to fruition. What do you want it to look like, and I will make it happen. So it's really a conversation. It's not cut and dry, pick from picture A, picture B, or picture C. I want to know
Personalized.
what you want.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Personalized. I love it.
Personalized,
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's really and some people come to us, like the moms of the bride, and I say, like, "Well, what is your vision for the shower?" And they're like, "Well, I really don't know." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll handle it for you. We got it. What do you think about this, this, and this?" And they're like, "Oh my God, I love that." So sometimes you come to us with a vision, and we can bring that to fruition. And sometimes they have absolutely no idea. The other nice feature, which is something that we can, no one else, our competitors can offer regarding our picnics is that we have the ability to bring it inside in the event of
Mm,
rain or inclement weather. And
that's
we
a
can
great point.
decide
Yeah.
absolutely up to 2 hours before we can like undo everything and reconfigure my store and bring that picnic indoors and bring that outside feeling inside and not have the whole day be a washout.
So
So
important. So
yeah,
important to have that backup location.
yeah,
It really
absolutely.
is. And the ability to personalize it if people, want to personalize it with little touches or because for a bride, for a couple, they're oftentimes this is their first time together. I don't
Mhm.
know, a
Hmm.
reflection of
Yeah,
them as a couple. You know what I mean? The
right.
Yeah.
their
Couple
aesthetic as
personality.
a
Yeah.
couple, yeah, together. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that's important that people, have the chance to not just pick one from column A, one from column B,
Right.
and you know, we we really we always every Sunday morning we have coffee and a specific kind of pastry. Well, you should have that at your wedding too.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Absolutely. And we do that. We're doing a wedding this weekend, and they wanted a signature cocktail that kind of goes with their theme. And so I kind of I don't give provide the alcohol, but I'll provide the insert before the alcohol, like the pre-drink. So like we just create what it is that they want in order to provide them exactly the vision that they're dreaming of or they're anticipating or what we created together.
yeah.
It sounds like a lot of fun. It really does.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
the pictures of your place because it's so cute. And
Yes, it is.
it
It's
Yeah.
very
seems like,
cute.
yeah. Yeah.
And what a
Thank
great
you. We have
town
a lot
Point
of we
Beach
have a
is.
lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a lot of stuff.
How far in advance should people contact you for a private event, inside your space or for a picnic?
So we're already booking well into 2025 right now.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better. I strongly encourage people. And the also nice thing is I'm super flexible when writing my estimates. So let's get the estimate, like just the basics down in the estimate. We can fine tune it, we can tweak it up to a month before. If you decide you want a brunch at the She Shed and then a month before you're like, you know what, let's move it to more lunch foods or heavier dinner foods. What That's totally fine. But the most important thing is getting the estimate to you and then you giving the deposit. I'm
Mhm.
super flexible on everything else from, moving forward. And I'm not rigid like some of these big catering event venues are. Like I said, I want to be perfect for you. I want it to be in line with what your vision is, and that also transcends into the energy of the event. If we're fighting and, oh, you can't do that, you can't change the invoice, then she's going to be stressed out, mom's going to be stressed out, like everybody's going to be stressed out, and then they come to the event and they're already vibrating on this high stressed out level. We're stressed out because we're fighting with you or we're arguing and you're being difficult, and then your guests feel that. I want it to be a wonderful, smooth transition. I want you to be happy from the minute you pressed send on that, inquiry, and I call you back, and I'm calling you back. We're having the conversation, and we're forming that connection and that intimacy together. So it you're feeling good about it. We don't want you to be stressed out. And I can guarantee you in my store, like we have like that neon sign that says good vibes only. And that's
Yeah.
truly what we are about is good vibes, even down to my staff. And my staff will tell you, we could probably count on one hand how many high stress individuals parties we've had in the She Shed because we remember it over the past 3.5 years exactly. And we're like, oh my God, remember them? They were really high stress. And it really changes the energy of the party, and you want your guests to have fun. You want to have fun. That you and I try to remind mom or the bride to be or the mom to be, remind you this is a special day. You're here to celebrate. You're celebrating the unity of two people. You're celebrating the birth of your child. Let's make sure that it's a memorable, wonderful experience. Not, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. And everybody's like, afraid to ask you a question or afraid to get a drink or afraid to get up. No, it's supposed to be pleasurable and fun and memorable and enjoying and relaxing. And Patty took care of everything, and her staff was wonderful, and the food was amazing. It
Mhm.
makes things taste better, look better, feel better when that energy is on that higher vibrating, positive, good vibe, you
And
know?
I can tell you from when I did that ceremony, and you guys, there were three of you there setting up the picnic, and how friendly and great everyone was, and the feedback that I got from my bride, as I call him, the bride and groom for that, was great. So you made me look good. It made it made because they were
Thank
so
you.
happy with everything. And
Good.
so it's so great to be able to work with you, alongside of you in that capacity there. So it also sounds like you have the ability to tailor your menu if somebody comes in and says, but one important person in our group is vegetarian or vegan or gluten
Right.
free, or we have some kids we want to make kid friendly. You can provide this, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's why it starts with the conversation. I don't have pick from column A, pick from column B even when it comes to my food menus. We have the basics from our menu, our everyday menu. But if somebody comes in and says, we really wanted a Bridgerton theme bridal shower, well, I don't have a menu for Bridgerton sandwiches, but I'll make one. We'll talk about it. What do you think about these four sandwiches or tea sandwiches and I am open. I cook everything. Nothing is frozen. Nothing comes from a warehouse or a refrigerated boxcar. I'm making everything in the back, my staff and myself, and that's the beauty of it. We can tailor our menu to dietary needs, restrictions, within reason, of course. But I'm open and to making anything or creating anything. We had a Mediterranean theme. Everything they wanted was lemons and I don't know. We
Yeah.
Olives, lemons
yeah,
and olives. There you
lemons and
go.
olives. We created it. We created it together with them, and like I said, made it a personalization. So we had their vision come to fruition, and that was the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah. I say I want to tell everyone that we will be putting a link to She Shed Eatery. The website is actually Pop Up Picnics by She Shed.
Mhm.
And we'll be putting a link to your website as well as your Instagram. Your website is excellent. And
Yeah.
you know,
Shout out to
we're
my
talking
son. Woohoo!
we're talking about, weddings and baby blessings because that's what we do. But She Shed
Yeah.
Eatery, what a fun website. I see that you guys do, and I got to go to one of these things. You host different events throughout the
Yes.
year, whether it's an open mic night or the Botox party, the Mother's Day. You can see all of this on your calendar.
Yes, and we're doing yes, and we're updating that also very shortly because we have a great one coming up in September. I believe it's the 26th. We're collaborating with a local uh, um, uh, boutique, and we're doing like fall fashion and faces, and again doing Botox. Women love the Botox parties. So that I believe that's coming up on the 26th of December of September. So look, yeah, I want everybody to make sure that they kind of put that on their calendar. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, we do drag brunches and
I saw the
um,
pictures of that. What
so
fun.
fun. Playing Mexican train night, that sells out so fast. Paint and sips and charcuterie board making classes. We
That sounds
host
like fun.
yeah, it's super, super fun, and it's just a way to bring people together. Again, like I said, just bringing women together, like-minded individuals, have a fun night out in a good vibe environment. Bring your own alcohol and just have some fun.
Right, so and when you're not when you don't have an event there,
Hmm.
you can pop in and just have lunch there,
Yes, right
walking
now.
and shopping in the great downtown district of Point Pleasant Beach, and you're like, pop in and have a
Absolutely.
lunch at She Shed Eatery. I love that.
We're
That sounds
open
like so much fun.
Thursdays and Fridays only right now. I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but most Saturdays and Sundays we have private events going on. So Thursdays and Fridays right now we're open to the public for walk-in.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I have to keep that in mind. It's
Mhm.
such a fun town, such a great place.
Hmm.
Um, eh, any advice before we wrap it up? Any advice to couples who are um, considering having She Shed do their picnic or rent out your event space for their micro wedding?
Sure. Well, also, for the bride to be or the
Mhm.
proposal, we do so many proposals.
Oh, I
And
bet.
for
Yeah.
us, yeah. And so then again, the nice thing about the proposal, if you're doing like a pop-up on the beach, you can come into the she shed for inclement weather. But you can also do the pop-up proposal on the beach and then meet your entire family and friends at the she shed for a proposal event where you just have a celebration, have pizza and charcuterie, and it's awesome. So like we kind of do like a pop-up proposal package, which is great. So that's to
Perfect.
start.
That's
But
what you hear all the time is when I'm talking to couples and we're talking about their ceremony and personally, we
Mhm.
often talk about how they got engaged and they'll say, we got engaged, with something like this, a pop-up
Yes.
proposal. And then we met all of our family back at She Shed Eatery to
Right.
celebrate. So
Right.
that's perfect.
Right. And we've done proposals, we've done the bridal shower, we've done the baby shower, all for the same family. The
I love
the,
it.
the baptism. It's
Uh-huh.
they know what they're getting with the service and they know what we can provide for them. They know how we work together. We're truly priced fairly. And we're flexible. We work with everyone. It's just great energy, and it's so rewarding and fulfilling to work with people that have that matched energy. And even if somebody is like super stressed out, we know how to bring them down. Like, what's stressing you out? Let me take that burden off of you, and let me help you figure that out, and let's work that out together. So
Yeah.
it's super
To
nice.
be asked back is the greatest compliment. We always say that, like, to do a wedding and then to be asked back to do another family member's wedding
For
and then to
sure.
be contacted in a couple of years after the wedding to do the baby blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the greatest compliment, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm doing a second wedding for the same family this upcoming weekend, and that's, we did their baby showers and bridal showers, and it's super rewarding. It's so fulfilling, and it's such an honor to be, like you said, asked back and
Right.
referred. And we've never spent $1 on advertising, and we're in business for 3.5 years, and we're booking into 2025. So I'm super grateful for all the referrals from every single person. It's word of mouth advertising that really gets your business going.
It's
And
true.
yeah,
It's
people
true.
want to buy from a referral or have an event from a referral. They just want to go in there blind. So I'm so happy for the people that trusted me in the beginning when there wasn't any referrals,
Right.
and then still trust me today. So I truly
It's
appreciate that.
often the guests who come in and they say, "That was fabulous. I'm going to use them for that, for when I do my thing or when
Yeah.
you know what I mean?" So
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I certainly had a great time
Thank
working with you
you.
doing that ceremony. It was a beautiful setup. Um, I want to tell everyone the link to She Shed Eatery's pop-up picnics by sheshed.com is right there on our social media, which is New Jersey Wedding Podcast, along with a link to their Instagram. So you can go straight to their Instagram and their website, see the beautiful pictures, read about what they offer, and contact them right through their website. And
Everything looks great. It's, we have to stop recording this in the morning because like
I know
inevitably
I'm
I leave
starving.
like I'm starving by the time we finish. It's like so
Well,
sad.
when you come to the She Shed, try the arugula prosciutto and fig flatbread. It's amazing.
Okay, okay.
Sounds
Amazing.
good.
That's
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank you
Patty.
Thank
guys.
you. It was so fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
All right. All right. We'll be seeing you.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye.
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 This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.